welcome to another episode of Muay Thai Save Me, guys. Beside me, I have my business partner, Edwin Lopez. And as you can see, across from us is the famous Kimberly Amaya, AKA Cashflow Kim. I was trying to acronym it, but I was like, never mind, I'm just gonna say the thing, Cashflow Kim. Welcome, Cashflow Kim.
Hi, guys.
What's up?
I'm excited to be back. The tables have now turned.
Has it? Dang. All right, what do we get ourselves into?
What's crazy is that Kim's been like, hey, I want to interview you guys, and she's been working on this shit in the lab and all this. I don't even know what she's gonna ask us. So
okay.
Yeah, I've been wanting to interview you guys because you guys did 2 episodes where you interviewed Edwin and Edwin interviewed you. And I was like, there were so many questions that you guys could ask each other that you guys didn't bring up. So I'm like, I should do an interview where I interview you guys because I think I could get more out of you guys versus when you guys interviewed each other, because there's so much backstory to you guys as individuals, and then when you guys partnered up and how you guys started the gym and where you guys are at now. And I think it's really interesting and people would like to hear it.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Let's shoot.
Let's
ask away. Ask away.
I wanted to start it off with a little game. It's called Who's Most Likely To.
Okay.
Ooh.
So I just I'm going to ask a question. You guys just blurt it out. So if you're like Neil or you're like Edwin, whoever.
Why don't we do I've seen the pointing one where they'll be like.
You want to do the pointing one?
They'll be like, who's bigger?
Well, we are
it's
a podcast.
audio.
We need to give audio, buddy.
Whatever, guys.
So just say the name, and then after I say the question, and then we'll go from there. Let's see.
Let's do it.
Who's most likely to forget their best friend's birthday?
Me.
Edwin.
Really?
Yeah.
I was for sure. I thought you would. Who's most likely to go on a reality dating show?
Neil.
What?
I could
100%. Yeah, I could see him there for
He's just
sure.
on Love Island.
No, 100%.
Love Island.
Yeah. He's just right there with a suit and a little robe.
Just to be clear, I did find love. All right, didn't have to go on any reality show.
Yeah.
I did find love. Ruth, baby, shout out to you, girl.
Yeah. So he doesn't have to go on one. You're good.
The Kru chiller. That was a good one, Paul.
Who's most likely to have a foot fetish?
Edwin.
Neil. You do, bro.
No.
Yeah.
Foot massages don't count, buddy.
I don't know.
Yeah, everyone just has some weird, he has some weird things about him. I'm just like, bro.
Okay, who's most likely to join a cult?
Me.
Yeah,
I could see it. You're very extreme. You're all in or out.
I would make the call.
Yeah,
okay?
you'd be the leader of the cult.
What do you think you're in?
Yeah.
More like it.
Who's most likely to write a bestseller?
Neil.
I could see you in the front with your turtleneck.
Yeah.
That's your cover.
Just signing books. Just hey, Mike RC, you got it, buddy.
Okay, who's most likely to commit a crime?
Edwin.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who's most likely to be late for everything?
That would be me.
Yeah, Neil. Well, me now that I started dating you, but Neil. So.
No.
Right? I was never late before.
Those are shots fired, guys.
Yeah,
that sound
I
effect.
need
another
extra
episode.
time. Most likely to get thrown out of a club.
Edwin.
Me.
I've seen it happen. Who's most likely to marry
fired.
someone they just met?
Neil.
Me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Most likely to
I'm
be...
looking at his finger. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck he did over the weekend. Let's stop at Julie's and get married really quick.
I know. Who's most likely to be killed first if they were in a horror movie?
Edwin.
Neil.
Edwin.
Yeah, Neil. I'm telling you.
Okay.
You already heard his policy about everything. He's like, if I don't think about it, it just can't happen. And I'm like, no, buddy. Dangers everywhere. Neil would get murdered right away.
He'd open the door to the killer.
He'd be like, oh, are you here for a tryout, sir?
You were trying.
Why the mask?
Why the mask?
So
COVID's over.
Who's most likely to cry while watching a movie?
Oh, that's me.
Neil.
That's me.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Anything with dogs.
Yeah.
Just gets me.
Anything with dogs.
Yeah.
What about cats?
101 Dalmatians.
Yeah. I don't know. Marley and Me gets me every time.
Cujo, she's like, he just had issues.
He had a bad upbringing.
Yeah. He didn't mean to eat everybody. Have you seen that movie, Cujo?
No.
You gotta watch it.
All right, that was fun, guys. That warmed me up a little bit.
That was good. That's it?
No, I just wanted to start it off like that, but I also want to get into like, how did you guys grow up? Because there's a lot of traits that you see in kids that as when they grow up, it makes sense, like why they run their own businesses or why they became entrepreneurs. I think every entrepreneur story that I've heard, they say something like, oh yeah, when I was a kid, like I would always like to be the leader of the team, or I would always ask questions. I would always be very curious. So I'm just wondering, how did you guys grow up? And what were your traits as children that you see now that you're like, this makes sense?
You want to go first, buddy?
Yeah, I'll go first. So I've always been a hustler, so forever that I could think of. And I'll give you a perfect example of one. When the Ninja Turtles movie came out,
That's my
the
favorite
first one,
story.
remember, the good one? I remember gathering all my friends. So we were broke, right? So I remember gathering all my friends and telling them all like, all right, we're going to go see this movie. I need everybody to meet me in the garage, and I need you to bring any toys that you guys want to sell. And we're going to go to the movies. And I think it was me, my little brother, and like 2 other kids, right? And I remember just being like, everybody bring us. So we had this bucket, and we're like, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to go through the apartment, and we're going to knock on everybody's door, and we're going to ask them like, hey, do you have any kids? Right now we're selling our toys. Let them come out, let them choose, and whatever it is they want, blah, 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 And yeah, and that was like things that I would love to do. I always did that. I always sold charamuscas, which are like salvi, like in a bag, like drinks that you freeze them, all that stuff. So I did that. I remember I used to sell like Disney pins because my dad used to work for like making pins and stuff like that. So I would sell those for 25 cents. So I've always been a hustler. I've always been ambitious to like wanting to sell, but I got that from my mom because my mom was always like that. She just loved she loved making money, but like she just was just whatever she saw in it, there could be an opportunity, she'd grab it and run with that shit, So I was always hungry for that, and I've always been ambitious, and I just knew that I was just destined to do greatness and do all that. As I've gotten older, I just knew I just need one person and just listen to them and shift me a little bit. And you know me, like I have an addictive personality. So like if I want something, like it doesn't matter what it takes, I'm going to get that shit. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, I've done also bad things like sold drugs and stuff like that, which weren't my greatest time. But at the same time, I was hustling and making money and all that. But yeah, just when I started artistic, it was just like I saw that and I ran with that shit, So.
That's cool. What about you, Kru?
For me, I think my first taste of it, I was in elementary school, and in 4th grade, they did this really cool thing. Each classroom, you were told to create a business, right? Create a business. And something I've always known about myself is I never like to follow other people. I like to do my own thing. I don't like to be like everyone else. And even at a young age, when what I did is before I created a business, I looked in all my classmates, what businesses are they doing? Because I don't want to do anything the same as anyone else. And so I ended up choosing, because I love sour licorice, I chose to sell sour licorice because no one was doing it. Everyone was selling candy, this, that, magnets. And I was like, there's no sour candy. I'm going to do it. And I remember making so much money because I was the only one in my classroom selling sour licorice. So each week, the teacher would give out like fake money. It was cut out and everything. We voted on a design for the money, and that was like our class money. And at the end of the year, all the classrooms would come into the cafeteria, and it would just be like this huge like conglomerate of businesses from the whole school. And you would take your class money, and it was being able to be used. So it was a really cool experience, dude. It was really cool. And that's how I didn't realize that about myself until then. Like, dude, I like to be different. Even when I would play sports, I didn't like doing what other people, I was like always trying to think strategically, what can I do to help my team win? You know what I mean? And then that carried out into fighting. And what we do now, it was just, I always knew I was capable of something great that I haven't done yet. Yeah. I just knew I had an act for helping people. And I'm really good at building lasting relationships with people. I build trust with people. They trust me. They know I'm not going to do them dirty or anything like that. And I found my passion with Muay Thai, and I just want to share that. And I think it was the coolest thing because me and Edwin have been friends since 2004. And I just needed somebody to help me like understand all the things that are going on in my head, how to put it into play. And Edwin has been that guy for me, how to kind of put it all together. There's been so many times where like he'll say an idea and I'm like, holy crap, I was thinking that. I'm like, yes. So like me and him have always been on the same page on almost a lot of things that we've done. And that's why a lot of times when he'll be like, buddy, I've been thinking, I was like, I love it, because I kind of was already thinking something along the lines of it. And that's why our partnership is so great. But I would say just that. I always don't like to follow other people. I like to do my own thing, you know, and I think that's why I felt, and then I'm around my mom, my parents, they've all owned their own businesses. My family in Thailand own their own businesses. So that's all I've ever been around. You don't work for someone else. It's better to do your own thing so you can make your own rules. And I've always been intrigued by that.
That's cool. That's awesome. So what I got from both of your guys' stories is that you, one, have always been leaders. You've always wanted to be the front, like, spear of something. Because I even remember, like, you've told me a story, like, when you started a gang, like a party crew or whatever you called it back then, and like you were
rebels, like the rebels.
Yeah, I did a couple like party crews.
Okay.
And then I did like my little rebel shit, and then but I always wanted to be like the leader, like the main head, they would call it. I don't know. I've always been fascinated with leadership, and just I've always felt like I need to be in the front. You know what I mean? I just like challenge. I like being put in the corner. I like being scared, but like a good scare, like where it forces me to move, you know. I don't know, I like that, you know. I like the moves like we did here at this place. Like these are huge jumps. Most people wouldn't do it. I mean, shit, I think there was people that told us like, well, I don't know, we'll all do a pre-sale. I was like, motherfucker, there's no pre-sale. Like we gotta move. Like we're open. We're not like, hey, let's put out balloons. Like we have a banner right now because we don't have a choice. Like, you know what I mean? Like
I like it. But you guys, as much as you guys get along, you guys are the complete opposite of each other. I think if yin and yang were a person, it would be you guys. because you guys are like complete opposites. And Edwin has always told me,
brown,
he's like,
white.
Brown, white. Opposite shades.
Edwin's always told me, he's like, if I didn't have Kru, he's like, I'd probably be like drug addicted, like in a ditch or something.
I didn't say that shit. What the? I never said that.
Something like that.
Why would it be a drug addict in a ditch? I've been doing fine prior to him. What the fuck? No.
Was that not what we were talking about?
I said, what the hell? No, I didn't say that.
You said
I swear I didn't say that, all right? My family's watching, dude. Okay?
You
like,
said that. Or
I
you
said that I'm a crazy motherfucker. I've calmed down a lot. I don't party the way I used to, okay? I'm just saying, I'm glad he's so like disciplined and everything that if he was to be like, let's fucking party, let's do this, let's fucking get back into this, I'd probably be like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
But like, because he's not, and like, I'm not, but if I had another partner that was maybe that was worse than me and he wanted a party, I'd probably be like, all right, fuck it, dude. Fucking chop that shit up. I don't know. Like, then I would be like in a ditch with him. You know?
Addicted, both of you guys.
Yeah. But like, but does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's like, it would just, because like, we're so close and our circle's so small that like, you can't, I mean, look at the influence that we have. We all read books. We all go to seminars. We all do listen to most likely the same podcast. We share information. Like, you can't help it but to become part of your circle. So like, the fact that he has certain standards, you just, like we go out and like we don't get shit faced because
I don't
he's drinking lemon with water.
Drink,
you know what I mean? So like I'll have a drink or two and it just be like, all right, cool. Like Neil's boring and shit, you know, like. But, you know what I mean?
Actually, that's not.
He'll actually be dancing.
The case.
Yeah.
I will be dancing, and Edwin's always embarrassed by me. He's like, "Buddy, stop! Everyone's looking." I'm like, "So?
Yeah.
I'm just having fun."
They're probably like, what's that guy drinking?
Yeah.
Give me like two of him.
Yeah.
But that's what I meant. Like, you know, like he in a sense, like, I don't know, like it's just.
I think it's a good opposites of what it's, you know, they say opposites attract, right? And I think it is. But we do also have a lot of common ground too.
Yeah.
You know, we both have big hearts. We both genuinely like to help people. And I think that's why we work so well. And we're both on the same mindset. We're both willing to work hard and we don't stop.
Yeah.
We're willing to be coachable. We're willing to, like, you know, if we call each other out, we'll be like, you know what, you're right. All right, let's be better. You know, and I think that's what I always say I'm lucky and thankful to have him as my business partner. I wouldn't want anyone else as my business partner. And I believe in the law of attraction, and I believe the universe brought him to me for a reason, you know. And I mean, geez, just I feel like he's always been successful with his business already, but just us joining forces, I just think it's catapulted all of us.
Yeah.
You know, like it's really cool to see. I'm always grateful every day, and people that know me, members that know me, they'll ask me, right? This is, they already know what I'm going to say, but they're like, "Hey, Kru, how you doing today?" And I'm always like, "Every day is a good day."
Mm-hmm.
You know, they always, because I truly wake up believing that every day is a good day. I'm not saying bad things don't happen, but I don't thrive off that. I just, all right, something happened. How do I fix this? How do I move forward? And let's keep going. You know, every day is a good day.
How would you guys say that complements each other, like in running the actual operations of the business?
What part?
Like your guys' personalities, like what your strengths, what you bring to the table, your strengths and what you guys bring to the table, and how you guys have been able to create what you guys have so far.
Well, one thing that I like about Neil is that he's always been good. Like if you give him a mission, and I've always like referred to him as like being a Navy SEAL, right? You give somebody a mission and you tell them like, hey, this is what needs to be done. He'll execute at its fullest. His biggest thing is just being like consistent with it and kind of running on his own. If you give Neil a plan, he'll knock it out, whatever it is. That's just the discipline that he has. Mm-hmm. Not because he's been new into business and all of that. And sometimes you just kind of gotta like, there's certain things that he's been working on that I noticed that I just gotta like help him more with. It's just part of the game, right? But going back to it, like I can always count on him to do it. I think we could both agree. I kind of like pushing people off the cliff because sometimes like he said, oh shit, I thought of that, and I'll just come in there and be like, just go do it, like push off that cliff. And we need that. We need that push, like being in the corner and something like that. And some people just have that instant, and some people like they thought about it and they wanted to do it, but they weren't too sure. And like sometimes I don't even know too sure, but sometimes just fuck it, you go and crash and you figure it out. But when somebody has your back, you feel strong, dude. Yeah. Even if we fucking lose, you know what I mean?
Because we'll
I don't mind losing. It's just as long as I know, like, hey, like going back to his coaching, like with his fighters, like as long as I know that he did his best, cool, let's get back up and let's try it again. Mm-hmm. That shit didn't work.
Yeah.
Awesome. What about Edwin made you think like that? I need to bring this guy on board.
It was the day that I'd been thinking about a business partner. Who do I want? Who would I trust? Who would bring the same amount of passion and work ethic that I can bring to the table as well? And then 3 months of thinking that every day, Edwin texted me and was like, buddy, are you at the gym? And I'm like, yeah, man. And he's like, I'm coming back. So I was like, all right, man, I'll see you soon. And that was it. He came in and we had a great session together. And then he was just sharing things with me. It started with like, where is everyone? Because keep in mind, by the time we were done, it was literally like 5-ish. And that's typically like prime time for any gym, right? And there was like nobody in there. It was still me and him. So we sat and chatted, and he was just sharing a lot of like great knowledge. And it was coming from genuinely, he just wanted to help me. He's like, all right, buddy, well, I want you to try this. Have you ever tried this? Have you tried that? And I just said, and then I shared with him, I was like, and he offered mentorship to me. He's like, buddy, I will totally mentor you, man. I want to see you win. Like, I love you, bro. And I was like, man, I love you too. And I told him, honestly, I need more than just a mentor, man. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm looking for a business partner. And so then he asked me right away, well, what are some of your goals? Like, what do you want to achieve? And I remember telling him, like, I've always wanted multiple locations of this place. And I remember when I said it, I saw this little twinkle in his eye where he was like taken back by it. He's like, he didn't expect that from me to think that like that. So he kind of gave me like a little smirk, like, okay, bro. So he gave me a couple things to think about. And then he was like, hopefully my mom's not watching, but it is what it is. He was like, honestly, bro, he's like, we can totally do this, man. We can do this together. I believe in it. I've always believed in you. I always believed in the gym. I love this place. I want to see it win. So he's like, the only thing is we got to do it without your mom. He's like, she's just too old school and she's not willing to do the things that it's going to take. And I said, all right, well, let me talk to her and then I'll let you know. He's like, all right, man. And then just get back to me. Take your time. Don't rush, and that was it. That was the start.
That's awesome.
And that
we
was
never
a
let that-
slow bandage to like
It
we
was.
could get into that another time,
Yeah.
but that wasn't like, oh yeah, let me. It was a
Yeah.
slow bandage.
Yeah, that was a
bandage
story- another
remove
story
To,
in it.
yeah,
Yeah,
shit.
Story
I
in
remember when I
itself.
first started working with you guys, she still had her office there and everything.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
still, I
That
think,
was-
as of recently, right? You guys were
It's
done?
been a couple years
Not
now.
several
but-
years.
Oh, really?
Several
Okay.
years, yeah.
2 years. And I guess we'll just end it off with, because it's going to be a quick one. What's one piece of advice that you have given to each other, Neil to Edwin, Edwin to Neil, that really changed your guys' like perspective on the partnership, on the business, or on whatever, really?
I'll do this one first. I'll say it first. One thing that really changed the game for me was that, just to give you guys a little backstory, I grew up in an environment that was always holding me down, saying like, you can't do anything but teach Muay Thai. You need us. You need us. You can't do it without me. You can't do it without me. And on top of that, thinking the traditional school systems, well, I hate school. I don't like school. I just don't like it. It doesn't do anything for me. So I thought if I don't go to school, I can never be successful. And Edwin came in showing that he was a dropout in the 9th grade. He's a immigrant from El Salvador and made himself into a successful entrepreneur. And he showed me that you can do this too, buddy. And just believing in me. You know what I mean? Like, he's like, you got it, man. He's like, you just got to change this, change that, and you can do it. I believe in you. And that right there was the game changer for me, to have someone in my corner believing in me and show me the ropes, the things that I didn't know of. And that's been the game changer for me. So it wasn't really one thing. It was multiple things. Yeah.
That's cool. What about you?
As much as he doesn't think the changes that I've done in my health, he thinks like the parent effect. I think that all that accumulation over the years of him being concerned about it is, if I don't think I would be doing what I'm doing if it wasn't from that. As much as he think like you know, like he was saying, like you get sick of that. I think the accumulation of that is finally like, this is what he talked about. And I think him like just knowing that if I could like get my health better, that it just being more dangerous in a good way. You know what I mean? And he's always been like, no matter what, even if he's been like, he's always given me like 2 cents. Don't need that. You shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. This, buddy, work on this. But you know, and it's been a roller coaster up and down for me. And it's like coming up to this year for my first consistent anniversary of like really being on it every day, has been because of all that, if that makes sense. And like just knowing that like how precious health is. And then if I can get healthy, I can't even imagine the possibilities of where we're going on to next. Because just the way I'm feeding him knowledge, now it's like, because now I'm like intrigued by it. It's like, hey, what do you think of this or that? Or you know what I mean? And like,
Yeah.
it's like a good thing, right? And I don't know. I think that just health, it's within itself. He's always been like concerned about health and taking care of yourself, and like, hey, bro, like health. Like I might not know a lot about business, but I know that health is fucking important, you know. And he's always been relentless on that, and I love that shit, because I don't know, man. You don't see a lot of coaches that are still healthy in our ages. Not that we're old, but like they just like, well, I'm good. I everything's here, but like there's nothing like seeing somebody who's here and fucking physically like, wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of discipline, man.
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely a lot of coaches, when they're done fighting, they just let themselves go. But I made a promise to myself that I would never be one of those coaches. I want to lead by example.
Yeah. It's important. And I think if you people always say like, oh, looks don't matter, or like judge people's hearts. I'm like, but at the end of the day, like you generally as people, it's natural for us to judge a book as its cover.
That's right.
Do we have time for one more question? Yeah. Cool. Okay. I wanted to talk about, have you guys ever wanted to break up as partners?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, at least a couple times. Yeah.
Let's go talk about that.
I mean, a couple. Sorry. I was like, yeah.
Every other day.
I think
Because I think running a business is hard on its own. It's easier when you have a partner, but when you guys have conflict, like how do you guys deal with that? What are the causes of it mostly? And what makes you guys still stay together?
I think that we never change the mission is probably our biggest stronghold, because if I think that if we chased money, I think we would have already not been together. Like if we would have been like, hey, well, we're not making 2 million, or like, hey, we haven't hit, I think that we wouldn't be together no more. But I think since our mission is one and we stick to that, we've never changed that. I think that everything else is just, I think that our relationship is no different from marriage and dating, in a sense that we've fought, we wanted to break up multiple times.
We have?
I mean, well, I did, you know? And I think that...
I didn't know about that.
I know.
And I think it's just like, just cook more. I'm like, just cook more. I mean, you know, but I just think it just, we're human beings. He thinks one way, I think the other way. Sometimes I want him to move faster. Sometimes he needs to, I need to understand that he moves in a certain way and learns things. And when that happens and we're not willing to compromise is when there's friction, right? Because if I'll be like, you got to fucking move 100 because I'm moving 100, and he might be like, listen, I can move 100, but I'm not gonna like absorb any of it. Like I need to move in these steps, and that's been a lot of our conversations. But he does get there to the destination, maybe not in the speed that I want it. And we have those, and sometimes he has moved and pivots quick and does fast. And I think it's just normal. I just think we're human beings, and if you look at us, we have totally different habits and everything. But our mission for the company has always, we every time we talk, and when we talked about it, we're like, look at each other, and we don't change that. And I think that's why we're so successful, you know, as partners.
And I think to add to that too, like we understand sometimes we just have differences of opinions. And what I like about us is that we might clash at that moment, but we still listen. We still hear each other, even in our shouting matches and all that. And one thing I like is that he's like me. If I get mad, I don't hold on to it. I let it go. You know what I mean? And then, because at the end of the day, it's like we just want to win. We're both passionate people, and that's why I love him so much as a business partner, not only as my friend and brother, but he brings passion just like I do, and that's why we fight, because we bring passion, and we understand that just because we fight doesn't mean we're gonna. I think he's been the one that's always. He's been the one like, well, if you don't, we're gonna, you know, I want out. I don't think I've ever said that to him. I let him be because he's fiery. He's got like that temper.
Yeah.
And I just know he's just, you know, I'm kind of like, all right, man, well, whatever. Cause I'm like, I'll pivot. I'll do whatever it takes. But I know at the end of the day, we're just passionate people, and we just want to win. And that's why at the end of the day, like I don't take offense to it. You know, I'll cool off, and then he cools off. And then when we see each other, hey bro, and we just talk about the gym, and we keep moving forward. So, I think that relationship we have with each other makes it special, because I know I've talked to other people, other business owners, and they're like, yeah, man, me and my business partner, we're just not working out. We're always fighting. And it's like he said, there's no compromise. There's no, well, what's your main goal? What are you guys trying to achieve together?
Yeah.
You know, we're on the same page, and that's what's special about us.
Yeah. And then we don't cheat, steal, or destroy.
That's right.
I think that those are huge things. I think a lot of people, that's what happens. And we've created a great company, and I just think we're still like very humble-ish in a stage where like we understand like, hey, like we invest this back into the business, we invest this in the second location, we just continue to do it. We know the long-term game is going to be tenfold.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and that's our character, honestly, Kim. Like, you know, lie, cheat, and steal. We're just not that people. We want to do good we want to give back to people. We genuinely want to help people, and that's why who we are. We are who we are. You get what you see. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not faking anything.
Yeah.
I love it, guys. Well, I have so many other questions, but I know we're a little short on time. But I just think your guys' story and your guys' dynamic together as a partnership, it's very far and few. A lot of people, like you said, like you hear partnerships all the time that go wrong, or that they're not working out, or one person wants this, the other person wants that. And like, I think that was like, that really stuck to me when you were like, but there's no compromise in it. That's why like someone's like, this is the way we're doing it, and that's it. Like, but you guys have that with each other, like where you go back and forth. You have that. Is it ebb and flow? I want to sound smart. you guys have that ebb and flow. And
Is it a shampoo? I don't understand.
so I'm like, I want to say
Ebb and
it.
flow conditioner.
It sounds like one, but that's awesome, guys. I love it. Thank you guys for letting me interview.
Yeah, you got it.
course,
Maybe we'll do a part 2 if these questions are good. They were pretty good questions,
No,
honestly.
they were. I
Yeah,
like
you're
the.
good.
Thanks.
What was the first part we did?
Yeah.
Who would
Who's most likely? That was
Yeah, we should
hilarious.
was fun.
implement that more with our guests.
I know. I like that. But guys, thank you for joining in to another episode of Muay Thai Save Me. I hope you guys enjoyed that content. I know we enjoyed hanging out and just chatting it up. But guys, if you enjoyed this episode, if you like any of our other content, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Okay, and stay tuned for the next episode. You don't want to miss that one either.